Just being honest. Nothing but the truth, yeah. Nothing but the truth, yeah. Honesty, CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty. Just being honest. Nothing but the truth.
Great. Welcome to another episode of
CJ Honesty.
And today we have Christina. You want to introduce our guest today?
Yes, after you say the scripture.
Oh, you want me to say the scripture
Yes,
first? Okay.
yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry, everybody. That's how we doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the scripture for today is Isaiah 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. And do you want to break it down for us what that means?
I mean, I ain't want to give everybody no whole sermon
No,
on it. This
Listen, Jonathan. You never know. Somebody need to hear something.
Listen, I'm gonna keep it straight to the point because basically, we don't want to put our fear in anything else. It's easy with everything that's going on right now to be fearful about, people losing their jobs, people are being separate from their families. A lot of people haven't seen their families in a long time and everything. We just got to learn how it's difficult, but you learn how to put your trust in the Lord and not put your trust in anything else, really, because anything else is going to, at the end of the day, even if it's family or friends, they're still human. They're going to fail. They're going to make mistakes. But if you put your trust in God, you'll be all right.
Yes. Amen. That is so true. And today we're going to focus on being Black in America and hitting some racial issues that are still going on. And eventually we're going to talk about later on in the episode. We're also going to mention about like what are the next steps that we need to take for progression for us, for Black people. So we have our guest this is her first time on a podcast. Her name is Imani Talley, who is a mother, fiance, and owner of Not the Minority brand Mission. As you can see, we're wearing the shirts, and is a base apparel. She is currently employed with the United States Postal Service. Family is everything to her. She has 2 beautiful children and with her fiance. She enjoys cooking and creating new merchandise for her brand. She is also a poet, enjoys singing, but her favorite job of them all is being a mom. Oh, becoming a mom twice is the greatest blessing God has given to her. Yes, I love to see it. And Not the Minority brand is her primary job right now and is extremely important to her and her family. She started her business 2 weeks after giving birth, which was her biggest decision of her life. She stands by her brand wholeheartedly and truly believes with her mission, she can unify so many different races and religions. And that is the goal. Welcome, Imani.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. How are you feeling today?
I am amazing, ecstatic, nervous.
As you can see, she got the beautiful kitties with her.
Yes, they're here. Aaliyah and Ava.
Yes, we don't we are raw on this this
their
platform.
What's it, video experience?
Yeah,
but this is me,
yes.
This is me. So
hey, be yourself. That's
I call the girls, I say they're my purse and wallet because I don't go anywhere without them. Like when they leave. If my kids can't come, I might not be able to show up. So
hey, that's the case for I think a lot of Black women might be the case anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
they gotta come.
That's how mothers in general, period. But I know Black mothers, they really, are close to their children.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
So you might, Christina, you might as well hit us up with the first question and get us started.
Okay, so for those who don't know, what does Not the Minority brand stand for?
Okay, so when I decided to start this brand, it was merely because I was looking at my children while discussing something with my fiance. Like, we're always talking about minority issues, topics, African American rights, Black rights, whatever. Like, we're always talking about that kind of stuff. So I kept saying, or he and I, we would always discuss, like, we're not really we're not the minority. There's always something negative on television, whether it's television, TV, internet, social media. There's always something negative about the word minority. And usually it's people that look like us. You know what I'm saying? Me, you, my Hispanic friends, even the Asian community, right? So I'm like, well, we're not the minority. And I just like kept saying it. And I sat on it for like probably like a year and a half, 2 years. I thought about it before we even got pregnant with the second baby. But with everything going on, like during the pandemic and like the isolation and just, knowing that I wasn't going to want to leave my kids and go back to work like immediately, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start the business. And I literally got my LLC 2 weeks after I gave birth to Ava. So I started it November 30th, 2020. And it was basically just because what, baby? I look at my kids and I'm like, at the end of the day, on paper, they're going to be African American and or Black, right? Whether, even though they are mixed, they are mixed. My fiance is Black and white, and then I'm Black. So, but on paper, I'm going to make sure they know to put African American, Black, whatever color you can be, and be proud of that. But I also, want them to know that anytime they hear the word minority, that is something so negative. The majority of the time, they make it negative. What they show you is negative. But at the end of the day, we're not the minority. When we come together in groups and we, handle things the appropriate way or the way that they need to be handled, and we just show unity, we are in return the real majority. So my hashtags are hashtag NTM brand, which is not the minority brand, hashtag the real majority, because we are the real majority. So like the classic logo t-shirts that you guys have on right now, it's a greater than sign over a percentage sign. I don't know if y'all remember the whole census 2020. That was like such a big thing. And I was like, why are they like touching, like they're like, it's such a big thing this year. And me and my fiance, we discussed that too. And it was just like, I feel like they're trying to constantly categorize us in some type of negative way, because Philly was constantly, advertising it on the radio. Like, you need to do this so that, we can show them that we need help, blah, 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 blah. Like, they made it such a big thing for the minority groups. Again, in return, I just felt like it was just always something negative. So when you wear the shirts, when you wear my merchandise, my goal is to allow people to feel empowered. Yes, this is not the minority brand, baby. I want, them to feel empowered and know that they're greater than any percentage that society tries to categorize you in. You're not what society says you are. You are beyond that. You are bigger than that. Because a lot of the times they'll put all of the negative things that the minority groups, and I say very, very abruptly in quotations, the minority groups, they always say something negative, they'll talk about all of the murders that are happening in Philadelphia, but they're not talking about all of the graduates, all of the artists, all of the doctors that are coming out of Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? You rarely see the positive things coming from us on social media and, even the news. And I know what I'm teaching my children here, but I don't know what somebody else is teaching their children And my goal with the brand is to connect these adverse groups, allow us to all get education amongst each other, uniting us in a way that we can take back what was stolen. Gonna, take a long time for that. But I feel as though something shifted in a lot of us in 2020, in a negative way in some ways and in a positive way as well. But I feel like with my brand and the mission, I can do something way more powerful than I even see right now. Because I want my kids to, one, be proud of who they are and proud of their mama.
Yes.
I want to leave them something that's not tangible. Yeah, stop, baby. That's not tangible. Yes, you want generational wealth, right? You want the money, you want to travel, you want to do this, but I want to leave a name for them.
Wow. Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely hear you on that. So you told us a lot about pretty much why you started the brand and everything, and
yeah, I tried to slip that all in there. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you did.
Then I'll start going.
No. Go ahead on that.
I want to refer back to what you said about what they have on the applications where like what color you are and stuff. I never understood that. I'm like, why do they need this? And just like I always felt that, about when it's on the applications, and I'm like, it's the same as how I felt about the census when they had to collect the information last year. That's a first. I never remember doing that. I'm like, what's this about? What they trying to do?
Yep. And then boom, now we just got a pandemic, but that's a whole other. Yeah. We ain't getting into all of that, but
yeah.
I feel like it's very meticulous.
I think somebody put that out there. I think somebody put that out there.
For separation
from a lab. No, I mean they've been talking about for a long time now. This is not a conspiracy theorist thing or anything. This is facts. You can go and look this up. I mean, all different kind of governments, China, from America, all of them have been saying they're overcrowded and there's too many people complaining and stuff. So I think that this has just been a way to do that, and then also put people in fear. I got my own opinions on the whole mask thing and everything. I guess I can say it real quick. People can crucify me if they want to, but
agree, disagree.
But I think with that, our bodies naturally heal itself, and they even told you that the mask wouldn't really help you from not getting the virus.
All it's doing is suppressing your immune system.
Yeah, so why would you wear it? Why are we wearing it then? That makes no sense. And then other thing that makes no sense is the vaccine. If it doesn't stop you from getting the virus, why are you getting the vaccine? I don't understand that. And there are people out there that don't like when you ask common sense questions.
No.
But I guess I'm one of those people.
Nope.
I feel the same way about that.
Listen, because we could have a whole hour session on that too.
That's a whole nother podcast.
We'll have to have you back.
Yeah, we don't. And again, listen, they might crucify me right with you, bro. But we don't vaccinate ourselves or our children. It's just our ancestors have endured so much so that we can do our own research, so that we can choose our own path, so that we're not taking something or doing something that's dictated by the man. I'm not extreme, like I'm not an extremist, I'm not, I eat hot sauce I eat ground turkey. You know, I'm not vegan or anything like that anymore. But I do believe in everything being in moderation and taking care of yourself. I am doing a little bit more research on holistic healing. I'm like getting into like the oils and herbs of things because like my prime example, my daughter, this is like a couple of months ago. She had like a crazy high fever. She was stuffed up. She didn't feel good. I like talked to a couple of my girlfriends and I healed her literally within 2 days with no medication at all. Like old remedies, steamed hot water with orange peels and onions, like, and just sitting in the shower with her, rubbing the bottom of her feet with eucalyptus and peppermint oil and putting on socks and just letting her sweat it out. But I say all that to say, you want orange and lavender? Okay, you can have it tonight. But I say all that to say there are so many different ways we can keep ourselves healthy as well as healing ourselves. And I just like, I nursed my oldest until she was 2. I'm nursing the baby now. Like the baby has a cut on her face from scratching her face. And I've been putting the breast milk on it and it's healing rapidly because it's nutrients in it. There's vitamins in it. You want me to take this vaccine that has all of these. Now, granted, again, and I said what I said about the food because, you know, people are going to be like, oh, but you'll eat X, Y, Z, but you won't take a vaccine that has these, you know, these ingredients in it. Yeah, no, because if you look into those ingredients, like you're injecting that in your body. I don't do drugs. Like I'm not injecting nothing in my body that just because you tell me so. And you know, something I've discussed with my fiance is like, you know, doctors only know what they're taught, right? And you know, modern medicine, they're taught certain things, so and they're going to believe those things because that's what they're taught. But just because somebody's taught something doesn't mean that it's necessarily right. You can be taught as a baby that you're supposed to wash dishes at 3 years old, and that's just what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. Your mom can tell you that every single day until you're 10 years old. By the time you're 11, you're gonna be like, this is all I can do. This is what I was hearing. This is what I was taught that I'm supposed to do. Wash dishes for the rest of my life. So that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, so I say all that to say, just because a doctor says it doesn't mean you shouldn't do your own research and educate yourself. Because you might never know, you could find something that says literally the opposite of what your doctor is telling you to do. You know, I've lost multiple family members due to cancer, pancreatic cancer. And 2 of the situations were totally different. My one family member, she lasted a long time. She did not seek hospitalization until the very, very end. Where my other family member, he was treated. And we watched him go through all of these changes, breaking his body down only to lose him. So I don't believe in, you know, and again, this is just me and my personal experience in the Black community. Now, I've seen a lot of, you know, my friends who are Caucasian beat cancer and different types of cancer. So I'm not saying that all treatment is bad, but I'm just saying I don't believe that all treatment is supposed to work for all people. We're all different. Our genetic makeup is different. So how can you tell me that what you did for this person is going to heal me? And again, I'm referring a lot with, you know, different races. I don't know if that's it. I don't want to, you know, smooth over that, but I also don't want, you know, to be attacked. But this is just my opinion. Even down to like my children, the whole what is that? The whole percentile, you guys will find out. But when your children are growing and they're going to the doctors, every time they're basically put on a study, not a study, but it's like, you know, your child is in the 90th percentile of height or weight or whatever the case may be. But this is just based on whose child, you know.
Right.
I just feel like there's so many different things with science and medicine, and also just believing in God and holistic options. Vaccines just isn't. I don't even know how we got on this topic, but that's
we started to
Yeah, I wanna
COVID.
have you back,
yeah, for
and
that
we
to
can
really dig
we
deep
can
into
talk
this
about Black people's health in
holistic
general.
healing, all that,
Yeah,
because that's a big thing
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of people
Because
are getting into
even
that.
with doctors, we're gonna just ask one more question, but I just want to say, even with doctors, they call that being a practitioner. So you're literally practicing really on people. So I'll leave that with that. But we'll ask this last question, and then we'll go on to make this a part one, and we'll do a part two to this episode, and then maybe we can, sometime in the future, we can have her back on and talk about Black people's health.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me ask this question about something that had been going on, especially ever since it's like everything happened at one time, with the COVID-19 happening. Then shortly after that, George Floyd was killed. I was going to say passed away, but killed by Derek
Murdered.
Chauvin.
How you say it? I don't even
Derek
care.
Chauvin.
I was about to say I don't even care how to say his name.
Right.
But he was sentenced for 22 and a half years rather than the 30 years. And just we're ending this episode. Tell us how you feel about that.
30 years wouldn't have been enough. I feel like it's a topic that is exhaustingly talked about. In the justice system, we are constantly being done injusticely. We know this. We just haven't figured out how to get. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Aaliyah, why are you doing that? Because you know. We are constantly done injusticely, and we can't, until we can get up the ladder to where we are the ones making those laws, the same stuff is going to happen, man. I don't feel as if he was given nearly enough time. I don't feel any remorse for anything that should happen to him. God forbid, because you know what? Now they might be looking for me. Like, she knows something we don't know. But I don't think that he deserves an inch of freedom ever. It don't matter if he 95, 85. The quality of life of George Floyd's family is forever going to be tarnished. So the quality of his life needs to just as much tarnished. 30 years was not enough. 22 is definitely not enough. So I definitely feel as though that was just a slap in the face. It like, it may seem like a win for a lot of people. A lot of people did celebrate that. You should never not celebrate, if that's what you want to do, because in a way it is a win, but in a way it's just as much of a loss as it is a win. You feel me? So
I'm definitely I'm on both sides with it. I can celebrate it and see how it was a slap in the face, because if the roles were reversed, it would have been, life in jail pretty much, with another sentence of two life charges. But then on the other hand, when I go back in our history as Black people, and I look at that and I say, okay, if that would have happened back in the 50s or 60s, there wouldn't have been, forget about the number of years, there wouldn't have been a trial at all. So that part I can say, I do have to recognize, like, when Black people say, we haven't gone anywhere, I think we take that a little too extreme, because we're not necessarily, I'm not making excuses, but if you look at our track records, we're not drinking from a dirty water fountain anymore.
You know what's crazy, to piggyback off of that? when our firstborn was 9 months, almost 10 months, I took her to Atlanta for the first time, right? Make a long story less long. Okay, baby. Okay, I'll put it on in a minute. Go get it. Make a long story less long, I was in the Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King Memorial. And I'm like in the museum, and there's this little boy, a white boy. He's like running around the place. Aaliyah, she was small but mighty, super advanced. So like I'm like, you know, kind of like walking with her a little bit, but she was just like the most pleasant child. And there's just this little white boy just running around. And I'm like getting infuriated, right? Because it's like,
yeah,
it's like, first of all, where are your parents? Like, this is super disrespectful. Like, this is, you know, a memorial, you know, like this is the time for your kid to be doing whatever they're doing. But I come out of there and I call my fiance and I'm sobbing, like I'm literally sobbing, crying, right? Come here, baby. And he's like, what's wrong? And I was just like, I'm telling him about the boy. And I was just like, I'm upset because at the end of the day, because on paper, he's white, he's going to be more privileged than my Black child. And like I was sobbing. And just as I stated in the beginning, now, mind you, like I said, Aaliyah was 9 months, right? So I've been thinking about these things. You know, you don't think, you do think about certain things, you know, before you have children, right? But it's like something for me just like opened more about like just opened a tunnel in my brain that was like, wow, like this world is really like jacked up. Like it's really jacked up. And I have to teach my children like what's, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong, you know, this is this, like love all colors, like, you know, where I grew up, I didn't see a lot of that until I got older. And when I say I didn't see it, I didn't realize that it was happening because I was younger, but it's always been around me. Racism has always been around me. You know, sometimes it's right flat out in your face and sometimes it's not. But I went on a tangent. I'm sorry, I forgot. Talking about. But so I called him. I'm like, you know, she's still on paper, she's going to be XYZ. But just as I said in the beginning, I want them to be proud of what they put on paper, but do know that because of the way that this country was built in the structure of it, it's going to be just this much harder for you to do certain things. And, you know, that's also, again, back to generational wealth and not the minority brand. You know, I do want to build something that they can stand on, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, because I don't want it to be so hard for my kids. You know, I don't want it to be so hard for my children's children. And, you know, the Keaton lineage coming from my fiance, you know, I want them to have something that I don't have right now. Do you get what I'm saying? So it'll be just that much, not easier, but it'll, as long as they follow certain steps and certain things that we leave for them, they'll be able to continue to grow that, you know. And again, that Black dollar just continues to circulate. The more the Black dollar circulates, the better and the bigger we can continue to grow as a community and beyond that globally, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's keep that thought. We'll be back for part 2. Peace. This has been another episode of CJ Honesty.
CJ Honesty, thank you for having me.
Just being honest, nothing but the truth.